So item AR1 is a part of an evolving strategy to explore getting low-interest state revolving funds loans in order to work towards a potential acquisition of one of the FGUA systems, namely the Aqua system, which consists of the neighborhoods of Jasmine Lakes, Palm Terrace, and Zephyr Shores. The premise of looking forward into an SRF loan, as they call it, is the elimination of 2 wastewater treatment plants, which are owned and operated by the FGUA, and potentially contribute to flooding and water pollution during heavy rain events. So that is the premise on which we would apply for the loan. As part of the application process, a resolution is required for us to actually make the application, which essentially authorizes us to apply and then would subsequently authorize us to execute documents and things should the loan be approved. It does not automatically mean that we are acquiring the system. That power rests still with the board and the decision on whether or not we acquire these systems, in what order we decide we want to acquire these systems, still has to be discussed and thoroughly vetted. However, there are a number of parallel activities that are taking place, both in terms of due diligence from a technical as well as a financial perspective that could impact the ultimate direction that we do take, including whether or not we take an SRF loan. However, given the long lead times and funding cycles, it's important for us to keep our options open, keep the ball moving, and therefore we're bringing this resolution to you in order to do that.
Any questions for Mike?
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Morrell?
And Mike, thank you very much for the meetings that you had, not only for the Palm Terrace and Jasmine, but for over Zephyr Shores, which
yes.
Mr. Oakley was there with us and very well attended. I think full support across the board to get this done. The Zephyr Shores part doesn't matter in the sense of as far as the flooding issues that happen over in the Palm Terrace and Foxhole area. But for instance, this last storm that we just had that went through, we had water flooding. Ironbark was dry as can be. The pumps were working great. Staff did a great job. Mike, you had a tremendous time out there. Gray Birch, the same thing. Holiday Hills was dry, so staff was all over that whole area. But this one area here where the water comes down, it literally takes about 8 streets of water, brings it all the way down to the bottom of the hill where the effluent ponds are, and our stormwater pond, which goes into a canal, goes out to the Gulf. And on the other side of the stretch where the spray field is, which the continual watering, takes another 8 streets and brings it all the way down. And I'll say probably 300 yards worth of water to that one area. It puddles down in there. It merges. I've seen it seep into this thing. It continually, DEP has the things, the videos to actually see that. And that's why this project is a little bit different than the others to get the state revolving fund. It's the water quality issue. Now, Mike, you're not aware of this because I just found this out just yesterday talking to Doug Robeson, who works with ESA. But there's actually another grant that's out there that could actually help us with this, which he's going to be reaching out to us, and we'll kind of lay it out. But it's another funding source to actually drive the number down, to actually make it more affordable for the people. But the great thing of this whole program, the state revolving fund, is going to take that interest rate down from between 4 or 5% down to next to 0. It's going to save the utility about $835 to $845 grand a year, based upon the numbers. That's going to make this even more affordable. I think it's something we should look at closely. Is it a stormwater project? Because if we take the effluent ponds, which right now hold all this water, which when it seeps over actually causes a lot of bacteria to get in the streets and homes, now we can make it a stormwater facility which will be dry, which can actually take some of this water if we build it just below the road, which we can. And the spray field, which literally in the middle of this storm, they're spraying the water to keep it from leaking out of the street over the top. They're spraying the water in the fields, which is then slowly working its way through. That solid brick of water, that wet soils, kind of like what the Wesley Chapel District Parks spray field across the way was, held all that water. Well, now it can be dry, brought down. We can make a dog park out of it, make a regular park for the kids, and serve about 7,500 homes. So I fully support this 100%, and I'm glad you're bringing it forward, but it's a little bit different from the others, and Mr. Rolfe, you were there, so. Yeah.
Question? Are you?
Yeah, I was there at that meeting. That was, they really want us to take that over. It was pretty evident the amount of people that was in that room. Normally, most of the people are gone this time of year, and I guess a lot of them were, and they invited us to come back, but they really want us to take over the quality of waters. They've really been suffering, and they look forward to us coming out to Zephyr Shore and help them out. So I think it's a good project. We got to look at everything, but the first step is, like Mike said, we have to go forward with the ability to ask for this loan, and then that just kind of starts a process. If we're approved for the loan, then that'll start a process where we really want to take in these entities or not, so.
So is there a cap on the loan? Because I'd like Gulf Harbors to, and the FGUA service area to also be included.
So this particular, again, this is just part of the strategy. So with regards to Gulf Harbors, the reason that we can make an argument on this is because, as Jack points out, there is a pollution prevention type element. A straight up, I mean, even the strategy for acquisition is a bit of a stretch, but we're making the arguments and still moving forward with it. We would have to look into any more details if there are certain environmental benefits that can be derived from the acquisition of those systems. Perhaps we can make an argument. But currently on the Lindrick system, we are working with Newport Richey towards perhaps an end goal on that. Again, a lot of moving parts and a lot of parallel path activities. We are completing right now on the Aqua and the Lindrick system the technical evaluations. So we want to see what exactly we're buying, what exactly it's going to cost the county to bring it up to standards, so we really understand what the all-in cost is. I've also initiated a work order with our financial consultant and to work with bond counsels to start digging into the financing numbers. I could come back and find out.
Yeah, I thought we did that already, but
Well,
didn't do that?
I'm not satisfied with what I've seen. So
Okay.
there needs to be it needs to be very well spelled out, because if there's any fatal flaws on the accounting side, we need to be aware of those before we bring a recommendation forward to you, as well as scenarios and how we do that. There's a matrix of options, and I want to try to simplify that and bring it back before the board here in the next few months.
Okay. Well, if it can be added, that would be great.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mike.
Mr. Chairman, just as a note, there's a meeting at Gulf Highlands, and they're going to be talking about this issue. Representative Mariano's going to be there. I don't know if any other representatives are going to want to go, but if you want to go there and meet with the folks, it will be a Thursday night meeting where they will be talking about it. We'll be sure to pass on the good news about this.
Yeah, just email it to us if you could, what day it is and stuff, if you don't mind. Can you just send us an email with the date and stuff?
Yes.
Please. Okay, thank you.